Hi everyone, it is the weekend and it is the weekend Q&A session, but it's not going to be just questions and answers in this weekend video. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll have heard me a couple of days back say that today I'm going to take you on a little trip, and it's about 20-25 minutes away, something like that, and it's just something that I think you'll find really interesting, so do stay tuned for that. Now, this is primarily a questions and answers video, so you ask me your tech questions or non-tech questions and I answer them in video format. And I'm going to kick things off by answering a question from one of my patrons. Now, to quickly explain what a patron is, if you check out the video description just below the video, you'll see a link to patreon.com, and that's my Patreon page. And patrons support me by way of a small monthly contribution. I'm really appreciative for all their support, and in return you get various perks at different levels, and that includes priority on your questions. For everyone else, I'm happy to answer all of your tech or non-tech related questions via Twitter. You can tweet them at Geekanoids and use the hashtag GeekQA. So let's get things underway, and this particular question is from John White. Thank you very much for your support on the Patreon campaign, John. And it says here, with the announcement this week of the BBC moving the BBC Three channel from being a broadcast channel to being an online only service, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you agree with this move? And do you think that all TV services will move to this model? If so, how far into the future do you envisage it happening? Keep up the great work, John. Well, first of all, thank you very much for that very thorough question. Just to quickly explain to those of you outside the UK, the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, has various channels on mainstream television, and they've announced that the BBC Three channel is going to move away from mainstream television and be an online only service. And you've asked, do I agree with this move? Well, I don't really have an opinion on whether I agree or not, because it doesn't really directly affect me. But for those of you who watch BBC Three on mainstream television and don't have access to the internet, I can see it being not a very good move for you, because you will lose a channel. But nowadays, most people do have access to online streaming via the internet. So I don't think it will affect that many people, because I think if people really want to watch the content that BBC Three are broadcasting, they will in fact be quite happy to stream it rather than watch it via an antenna on their roof or via a satellite dish. So I don't think it will affect too many people. I do have an opinion as to why they're doing this, and I'm hoping it is for the right reason. I'm hoping they've got the foresight to see that a lot of people are using internet streaming either on a tablet or a mobile device or a laptop or indeed a desktop, or maybe you've got some sort of set-top box as well. And I'm hoping that they are seeing that this is a growing trend, and they're using the BBC Three move as a test to see how things go. And then I can see them in the future possibly moving other channels across, but not moving them across to using online as their sole outlet. So, for example, BBC iPlayer, you can actually play back programmes after the events happened. But in the future, I can certainly see them moving BBC One across to an online streaming service, but giving you the choice of whether to watch it online or via a regular television. And with regards to other TV services, you've asked if I think that they will in fact move their services across as well, and how long I think that'll take. I've got no idea of timescale, but I certainly do think that within maybe the next 2 to 5 years, we will see a lot of other channels doing the same thing. The regular model of broadcast television through a satellite dish or an antenna is outdated, and people want to be able to watch in many different ways. So I certainly do think it will happen, and only time will tell. But I'd be really interested to hear all of your thoughts on that as well. It's a very thought-provoking subject as to what you think is going to happen with the future of broadcast television. I certainly see that a lot of it is going to move to online. So brilliant question. Now the next question comes in from Alexandra Paranormal via Twitter. I need 2 new monitors. I don't have a budget, I'm just seeing what's there. I want bigger than 1080p and 1610 format. Well, there's plenty of monitors out there that fit your description. It really does depend on your budget though, because if I was offering up a suggestion to you where money wasn't an issue, then I would certainly recommend Apple's Thunderbolt displays. That said, if you want something that offers up a bit better value for money and still a very good display, check out the Dell range of monitors. They do plenty of really high resolution monitors in their ultra sharp range, great colour accuracy and great connectivity as well, and well worth checking out, and they will work out a little bit cheaper than Apple's offering. So brilliant question. And then the next question I remember coming in via email, and this one comes in from Michelle. And Michelle asks, how do you find enough time in your day to do so many videos? Well, it's a really good question, and in fact, oh look, another question's come in there. Sorry Michelle, just as I was talking, another question came in. I'm going to save that next question for the next session. So, with regards to how many videos I do, I went through a stage going back a couple of years, if you were watching then, where I was publishing up to 6 videos a day. And it's all to do with time management. Being self-employed, you have to be very strict with yourself. And I find that when I was doing that many videos, when it was 6 videos a day, I would create a lot of lists and put a lot of pressure on myself to get a certain amount of production done. And things change, they fluctuate. You know, before that time I was doing sort of between 1 and 3 videos a day, and current day I publish 2 videos a day. I publish a review or an unboxing or a video test, and then I also publish my own sort of personal video to keep you updated with what I've been doing in my personal life, and also some behind the scenes footage as well. So to actually be able to do those, I still have to be very careful with my time, because running the business isn't just sitting down with a camera, recording, doing a quick edit and upload. There's a lot more that goes on besides that, especially with the review products, where you have to sort of unbox the product, test the product, evaluate whether it's good or not, maybe in comparison to other technology that you use. You often base your opinions on previous experiences, and I find that that takes up a lot of time. And then there's things like replying to emails and arranging for products to be delivered in, arranging for products to be collected and sent back to the manufacturers, packing those products. It all takes time. So I just am very wary of having quite a structured way that my day progresses. And of course things happen during the day that sometimes means that you take sort of spur off on another avenue or another path for a few hours, or you have an errand to run. So of course things like that happen on a daily basis, but I still have enough time and enough energy in my day to really work the long hours that it takes to do what I do. And I do that because I enjoy it. So sometimes I might work from 5 AM or 6 AM in the morning all the way through to 8 PM at night. And that's not because I feel I've got to do it, it's because I enjoy doing it. And even at the weekends, recording videos like this, and sometimes I do some online work, and people say, well, you shouldn't work at the weekends, you should have a weekend off. Well, some people at the weekend, and there's nothing wrong with this, I used to watch a lot of television, for example, I don't anymore. In the evenings and in the weekends, if there's nothing on television that really interests me, and we've got nothing planned as a family, perhaps a family sort of outing or something, then I would use my time productively. So I might record a video or edit a couple of videos or do a bit of editing on the website, because that's what I enjoy doing. That is my pastime. Another one of my real sort of interests is photography, and obviously videography as well. I love how cameras work. So I might use some of my free time where we go out with the family, and I would take one of the cameras that I'm testing out with me. For example, at the moment, I'm testing this, the Nikon D3300. So when we go out tomorrow as a family on Sunday, I'll bring this with me and I'll take a few photos and see how it performs. And that helps me form my opinion on how this camera might fit into your lifestyle. So I've rambled on, haven't I, in that answer? But it is a very, very good question. And I think it's all just to do with focus and passion for what you're doing and a really good degree of time management. So I've come out for my drive and it's a really sunny day. Little bit sort of foggy actually. So when I get to the place that I sometimes just go to take in the scenery, I'm just hoping that it's not too foggy, so you at least get to see what I want to share with you. Also, whilst I have your attention, I just learned some very sad news, and I learned about this the Malaysian airline that actually crashed. I think it crashed into the sea quite near to the coastline, or I'm not too sure of the full details, and it's really just sad. I absolutely hate it when things like that happen, and I just wanted to express my sort of sincere condolences, and my thoughts and prayers go out to anyone who's affected in any way by this, anyone who's lost somebody precious to them. It's just a terrible thing. Any sort of disaster like that just really does sadden me, and it just makes you think how precious people are and how precious life is. So yeah, I just hope that, well, I just hope that everybody gathers enough strength to pull them through something like that. So anyway, I'm now just something just came across in front of me there. I'm just taking my time to get through these narrow country lanes. Very, very narrow lanes around here. Only enough room for one car to go in one direction. So if you see an oncoming vehicle, you have to try and remember where the nearest passing point was, and either reverse to your one or the other car reverses to their one, and then you just get to a passing point so that two vehicles can cross the road. We are almost here anyway, and I'm looking across and it is quite foggy, but it looks like visibility will be okay. So and this is just a really nice peaceful place, but it's got some real interest to it as well. And I come here sometimes and just park up and go for like a 20-30 minute or an hour walk, and it just really clears your thoughts, really just gives you a nice break. The bit that I actually want to walk on is actually where I'm driving past now, but we have to drive a little bit further up this road until we come to a parking place which is suitable for like 3 or 4 cars. And if that's full, then I drive on to the next one, which is a little bit bigger, sort of, you can probably fit about 6 cars further on. It's a very, very bumpy road. Just to the right of me here, and I'll show you this when I get out, that's just sort of some farmers' fields. But we are in luck, we have got enough space to park. So I think, actually, there's nothing behind me. I'm just going to reverse and then park in this bit, because there is a massive hole. Yeah, you've got to avoid the hole if I can. I'm just going to park in this bit. There is a big hole just behind me. Let's just tuck the car in nice and close. Car in front. There we go. Give myself enough room to get out. We are parked. So let's show you this. So here we go, this is the area that I come to, just for walks sometimes, and I hope that you can hear me. If the audio is not too great on this section of the video, then I will just record some more audio and explain what you've seen on my journey back. But basically this stretches for miles and miles, and you can walk all the way across here. Actually, if I just come back across to this gate, you can see where I've parked just up there. That's my car, just sitting up there. And then we've got these little sort of gates that let us in to this area. And you can walk all the way along the top edge there, or you can indeed sort of venture down into the little paths you can see winding around just down there. And you can walk for miles along this sort of area. And the bit that I wanted to show you that was really interesting, that you just might find interesting from a sort of history point of view, is this site here that you're seeing, where you can see those buildings, and then just beyond the buildings you can see some lorries coming in as well. I'll just zoom into that area. You can see some lorries just coming into this sort of area, and this site is the Channel Tunnel site. So all of these lorries are actually going into to board a train just further down. There's all the boarding points just down there, and then you can travel across to France on the train, and you can this isn't the passenger terminal, this is like what they would call the freight terminal or the passenger car terminal, so you can only actually board the trains if you're in a vehicle. How windy it is, blowing up, but it's just a really nice area, very nice scenery. You have to be careful where you're walking actually on this bit, because you can actually show, if it's going to show very well, and you can see some hoof prints, and that is because you actually get cows walking along this bit, so you do get cattle walking in this area. It's just really great. You can get some really nice photographs around here as well. Let me just come up to the fence actually, walk up this hill. This is what I was mentioning to you on the other side of the road. So I parked just down there behind that white car. And then on the other side, we've got all of this farmland. So this is sort of crops. And then in the distance there's a white house. That's like one of the farmhouses, if I just zoom into that for you. So that's like one of the local farmhouses, and then over the back there you can see some other farm buildings as well. So it's really good, I just like it up here. So you just have to be careful where you walk, because the ground isn't that fantastic. But this is the way we're walking now. Got to avoid the poo as well. It's not too muddy. I thought it would be a lot muddier up here, because this is one of the first times I've been up here since winter. So I just thought it would be a lot muddier. It looks quite muddy down this bit though, look. Let's venture down this bit a little bit and see how far we get. Yeah, it is quite muddy down this area. And I only put my trainers on. But we will continue, because we've got a little bit of shelter from the wind along this bit. You can see how muddy it is. Oh my goodness. And I'm struggling walking on flat area because of my leg, and I've come into this bit. But here we go, you can see a little bit clearer here, and we've got a bit of shelter from the wind, so you should be able to hear me a bit better. But we'll just take another look at this again, and if I'm repeating myself, it's purely because we're getting a little bit better audio now. But over in the distance there, you can still see these slopes coming down. If I just zoom in a little bit again and show you the slope area. So you can see this sort of slope area just coming down with all of the lorries queuing up, and all of those lorries are either queuing up to board or to depart. And you can just see one train moving across as well, if you look very carefully. It's so foggy though, that you're not getting a very good view, unfortunately. And when they depart, it just goes out onto the motorway, and then they've got a really good link to drive to London if they're arriving, of course. And if I just show you there, you can see one of the train engines just going across there. So, but it is so foggy and misty, so I have to apologise for that. There's nothing I can do about the weather. I just had to take the opportunity to come up here and share this with you today because I wanted to. So let's walk along a little bit further. It just is nice to get out and about, and as I say, I can go for a walk along here for normally about 30 minutes to an hour, in all fairness. Normally just sort of walk for about 20 minutes in this direction and then just sort of scoot back round and take another route back. So I thought I'd do a quick 360 for you before I head back. And again, apologies for all of the mist. I cannot do anything about the weather. So there we go, the Channel Tunnel site. I'll tell you what I'll do is actually, it's given you an idea really of the area that I come to just to enjoy the fresh air. But when the weather's better and we get a clearer day out there, I'll come back again. So I'll share it with you again in the future, just so you get to see a clearer look. It's just a really interesting area. And there's another area that we go to. I can't remember the name of it. It's just completely gone. Don't you just hate it when you get that moment when you've got a place name in your head and it just goes, it's disappeared. But there's another area that we go to for walks, and it's the location where when they were digging the Channel Tunnel, they had these big tunnelling machines, and all of the earth or whatever it was, the rocks and bits and pieces that they were getting out when they were digging, they actually put in one place, and they made it into a really nice sort of area where you can go for walks. We're back to the mud, so I will take you there one day as well and show you around there. It's they've even put like where they put all of the earth and the waste that they dug out of the tunnels, where they actually put that, they've actually made it into a really nice place, and they've even put a little cafe in there. They've put sheep in there. It's just really, really nice. So I will share that with you in the future. But it's on the coast as well, so it's yet another windy location. So you might not get great video from me. But that's the way it is. We made it through the mud. So we'll head back to the car. See the car just up there. And the wind's still got a chill factor to it actually, but it's a lovely sunny day. So we're back in the warm. Just got to reverse again, avoiding the hole behind me if I can, and we're going to actually go back a different route rather than turn round. But this section of the video will work one of two ways. If I manage to capture some decent audio in the last segment, then you'll be getting this as bonus footage as I'm talking to you. If I didn't manage to capture that decent audio, then you'll be hearing this as voiceover over the previous segment of video, just so that you get to actually hear about what you were seeing there. So basically the area I travelled to was the sort of top of the hills that look over pretty much a lot of Folkestone, and in the distance you can see some of Ashford as well. And the part that you saw where you could see lorries moving around and vehicles, and obviously some of the trains as well, is actually the Channel Tunnel site. Now the Channel Tunnel links us in the southeast of Kent to France, and basically it's got two different sites. There's the Ashford International station, where you can actually get onto the Channel Tunnel and travel across to France if you are a foot passenger, or there is the bit that you just saw there, which is like the freight terminal or passenger car terminal, and that's where you drive your car or lorry if you're a lorry driver, and you drive that straight onto a train, and then the train takes you across or underneath the channel, and it takes roughly about 35 minutes to get from here to France. And then when you get out the other side, you can just drive straight off the train and then drive across the rest of Europe. So it's a really, really good link. And of course, when you're departing, so say you arrive here in Kent, when you come out of the Channel Tunnel, you actually exit and you're pretty much straight onto the motorway, onto the M20, which is of course a great link to London as well. So it's really busy. You get a lot of lorries coming, and when I'm travelling on the M20, you can certainly tell when a train has just come in, purely because you get lots and lots of lorries and lots of foreign drivers as well. I'm just having to slow down here because there's a walking group coming through. And there's another walking group ahead. I don't know if you saw all of those people there, but there's loads of people. And they're all scattering. Quite an elderly walking group. That's really nice to see, because they're all out for their walk in the countryside. Awesome. That is brilliant to see. Love it. So I'm just travelling back now. I've got another sort of very narrow lane to drive through. And as I say, once I get through all of these lanes, whoa, big hole. Ugh. So many potholes. You sort of expect it on the lanes, but you don't expect it on the main roads. But there we go, we're through that bit. You have to really keep your eyes peeled. So many holes. But anyway, I was saying, when I get through the narrow lanes, then I'm roughly about sort of 15-20 minutes away from home. So nice and close. The only disappointing bit about this sort of area that I'm in now is that I would love to get out and walk, but there's just nowhere to park. There's nowhere to park the car. But I would love to get out and walk around this area as well. So which way do I go here? I can never remember. I think I'm going to go up this way, I think. Pretty sure this is the faster route. Or is it? No, I'm going to actually turn around and go along this way. It's so long since I've been up here. I think I'm going to go this way. It should be a little bit quicker. But they're so narrow, these lanes, you really have to keep your wits about you, because, as I say, if you get an oncoming vehicle, you have to react pretty quickly to avoid sort of crashing or embarrassment of having to do an emergency stop. There's just so much mud in the road as well. But it's nice. I like doing this. I like coming out and just having a drive and chilling out, relaxing, getting a bit of exercise. It's just a nice feeling and a really nice area. It's also really cool that we've got so much greenery and so many fields and sort of trees and little forests around us as well. It's just a really nice area. And if I could move from where I actually live and choose somewhere to actually live, it would be out in somewhere like this. But it's very expensive buying a house out in the middle of the countryside. Well, I can only guess you're probably looking at probably 300 to 400,000 pounds minimum for this sort of area, unless you were extremely lucky. I would imagine a lot of the houses actually around this sort of area are £500,000 plus. So it's going to be a lot of saving if I ever realise that sort of dream. Now there is another road down there, but I'm not taking that route because I remember that's really quite a very, very thin road. So that's it, we're almost back out onto the main road now. So let's head back and get on with some more questions and answers. So I'm now back to answer another question. But before I do, I'll just let you know that the area that I was referring to, where they put all of the materials from the digging out of the Channel Tunnel, is actually called Samphire Hoe. I remembered it as soon as I turned off the camera. I will visit there in the future as well, and I will share that sort of visit with you. So do stay tuned for that. And also, I haven't reviewed back the footage yet from my walk, so I don't know how the audio is or whether the footage was really sort of foggy and you couldn't see it very well. If it was really bad, then obviously I will share that again with you when it's a clearer day. So anyway, I've got a question here that has come in from Adrian. It says, "Hi Dave, watched your channel for a long time." Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. You sometimes review products that are only available in the United States. Could you explain why you do that, and also give some sort of indication as to where your viewers watch from, and also any other insight you can give into your channel? Well, yeah, I can certainly give you that. I've actually got my analytics page up on my screen now. Now, first of all, the reason I review products that sometimes are only available in the United States is because when I do the review, they're perhaps very new products, and a lot of the companies are based out in America. So when they send me the product, I do the testing, I do the review, and then when that goes on the channel, it's not necessarily filtered through to become available in the UK, but normally within a couple of weeks or a month, those products normally do become available in the UK. But that's why sometimes that happens. With regards to my viewership, just over 40% are from the United States. Around about 40% mark are from the UK, which is where I'm based. And then we've got the likes of Canada, India, Germany, Australia, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Italy and Brazil as being the top 10 locations that watch my videos. And then after that it's split up between lots of other countries as well, some really remote countries. So that gives you an idea of sort of where my viewers are located. And then with regards to devices as well, I thought I'd share this with you because this is quite interesting. 52% of the views on my channel come from people watching on a computer. 27% come from mobile phone. 19% are watching on tablets. 0.7% unknown. 0.7% on a TV. And 0.5% on a games console. And I found that really, really interesting. Very, very interesting when you look through your analytics on your channel. So that's what I'm going to share with you with regards to answering that question, and I hope that has helped. You know, it's really interesting to see how many different countries actually watch your videos. It's very humbling as well when you see so many sort of remote places and viewers commenting from very remote countries that you sometimes, or at least I've never heard of, and it's just great to hear from you all. So anyway, that's it for most of my day today, so I'm going to answer some more questions later on in this video, so do stay tuned. So I'm now well into Saturday evening. Milo is standing down here. I think he thinks he's heard something. He's just standing here. Look, Milo, what do you think you've heard? What have you heard? Okay, he's having another scratch. But anyway, I've been cooking, and I do this every time. Every time I do this. So I'm cooking spaghetti bolognese. You can see it just bubbling away there. It's been cooking for about an hour and a half, something like that. So it doesn't need to be cooked that long. As I explained in a previous video, I just seem to cook it longer than is necessary. And every time I cook spaghetti bolognese, what I do is I put the sauce in. I also put some wine in and some water so that it's really wet, and I just leave it simmering away. And then I always almost forget it and just catch it in time before it's burnt. And I did it again today, about an hour in, and all of that moisture had sort of evaporated or been cooked away. And I had to run out here and scrape around the pan. Normally, I have to transfer it into another pan because it's normally got black bits on the bottom of the pan. But this time I came out a little bit earlier. So as I say, I've got about another, I don't know, I'll probably put the pasta in shortly. But this is almost done. And I picked up the wrong sauce as well. Instead of having the normal light sauce that I buy, I picked up smooth instead. It really annoys me when I do that, because I go to the supermarket and it says what the various varieties are, and then for some reason, it must just be something in me, some sort of, I never buy the first one. I always move one aside and pick up one behind. I've always done it. Don't know why I do it, but I do it with absolutely everything. So I went, picked up one behind, put it into the shopping trolley, and they must have stacked them in a different order behind. So the ones behind the light ones were the smooth ones. So we shall see. It'll probably taste the same, it's just a little bit of a different texture. So that is really my Saturday. I've answered plenty of questions. I hope you enjoyed the journey out with me, and I shall answer some more questions tomorrow. But it's not in a separate video, so don't turn off this one. Keep on watching. Say see you tomorrow to everyone. Milo, 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 say see you tomorrow to everyone.
See you tomorrow.
Hi everyone, it's now Sunday, and this is going to sound like you started the video all over again, because I've got another question from patron John White. So you're not hearing the same as what you heard at the beginning of this video. This is a new question from John. And John asks, now you have lived with the new Mac Pro for a few weeks, are you happy with the compact redesign, or would you still have preferred a larger and more expandable machine more akin to your other Mac Pro? Well, that is a really good question. As you know, I've got the late 2013 Mac Pro, the black cylindrical design, and prior to that I had a 2010 Mac Pro, the larger sort of square case type design, which of course you could expand internally. You could do things like change the memory out, change the processor out, add up to 4 internal hard drives and a whole lot more besides. You could even add in things like graphics cards, SSDs, so a very, very expandable machine. With the new Mac Pro, it's got this new compact cylindrical design, and you can change the memory. You can, with quite an intensive sort of teardown, change the processor. You can also change the solid state storage. As far as I know, the only thing that would prove very, very difficult to do would be to upgrade the memory cards. Now, there's no room internally for adding up to 4 drives. That's absolutely impossible. So instead you add external storage. And yes, once you've plugged in lots of things to the back of your computer, it can look a bit ugly with lots of cables hanging out the back. But even with my 2010 Mac Pro, I still had cables hanging out the back because I had things like microphones plugged in, audio interfaces, memory card readers, etc, etc, external hard drives for backing up. So it was still a large box computer with lots of things hanging out the back attached via cables. So I don't see that being much different. And looking back to my 2010 Mac Pro, did I really change much in it? Well, yes, I added internal hard drives to it, and yes, I upgraded the memory, but apart from that I didn't make any changes. I didn't change the graphics card, I used whatever Apple gave me, so not a lot of changes in that respect. Being a bigger box meant that it lived not on top of the desk, it lived underneath the desk, so all of that cables, or I should say all of those cables, actually hang out the back and weren't in view. And with the new Mac Pro, it's really designed to sit on top of the desk and obviously be on view. So having the cables out the back, yep, they are visible. If you position it at the back of the desk, which you'll see when I show you it in my editing room, or indeed when it was down here, it was at the back of the desk, you couldn't really see the cables, so it wasn't really an issue. Do I wish it was a little bit more expandable? In a way, yeah, I wish they'd made it maybe a little bit bigger, so maybe I could have put a couple of solid state drives in there. But overall, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm happy with the performance, happy with how quiet it runs as well. You wouldn't even know it's turned on a lot of the times, and it looks really nice. So overall, I am happy. I still haven't formed enough judgment to do my final review yet. That will be in a couple of weeks. So, we have also got some other questions. I should also say thank you again for the question, John. Really good question. Oh, before I take the extra questions, I'll just give you this. Seen it? Can you see that? Beard update. Yes, I fancy a little pointy beard. Don't know why. Oh, actually, I do know why. I was influenced by a film I watched the other night, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Don't know why it taken me so long to watch it, but the little pointy beard scientist, yes. I'm joking, but I do fancy a little beard, so I'm going to give it a go, and I'll give you a daily update on how that's going. So I've got some more questions that have come in via Twitter. James asks, what are your thoughts on the HTC One M8 leaked video? Well, it looks like a very, very nice mobile phone. I'll certainly be getting one into the studio, but from a video, I'm not going to pass any judgment. I want to get it into my hand, see how it performs. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic performer. I'm just really looking forward to testing it. HTC did some excellent hardware last year with the HTC One, the HTC One Max and the HTC One Mini. So I'm just really looking forward to what they do in 2014. Next question is from Jacob. Have you seen the Nokia Lumia 630? What do you think about it? I don't like it. I'd rather upgrade from a 620 to 820 or 890. Well, the 630 is okay, but I do agree with your sort of decision to maybe consider the 820 or 920. Out of the two, I would probably consider the 920. It's a really nice upgrade for you. Or if funds allow, consider the 1020 with the really awesome camera. You know, there are a lot of great Windows phones out there, especially in the Lumia range, And I must admit, with all of that choice, it can become a little bit sort of hard to make that sort of decision. So I would certainly consider the 1020, or if you fancy a phablet, a larger design, maybe the 1520. I had that into review just recently, and it was so good, I'm possibly considering getting one in for my own personal use. Next question is from Brad King. Do you think the Surface Pro 2 could be used as a desktop replacement? Well, it depends what you use your desktop for. If you use your desktop for heavy video editing, or perhaps a lot of music production, or 3D work, for example, then probably not. It does offer up a reasonable amount of power, but with something that's very graphic intensive or processor intensive, such as video editing, then I would still go for a full-blown desktop or a really powerful laptop. If you're using your machine for a lot of different things, and a real good mixture of medium to light work, then something like the Surface Pro 2 would be perfectly capable. And it's a very nice machine, the fact that you can connect it to an external monitor, the fact that it's very portable, and it is very powerful as well, then yes, it would lend itself to many different tasks. But when you're asking that sort of question, I really need to have a little bit more information as to what you're actually intending to use it for. I like the Surface range. When I tested the Surface 2, the one that runs Windows RT, I was really impressed with how it performed and how flexible it was in its many different uses. So it's definitely a viable option. But when you're talking a full desktop replacement, I would maybe be looking for something with a little bit more power. So it's now approaching Sunday evening. I've just put dinner in. We're having roast chicken and a nice roast dinner. I like a roast dinner on a Sunday. It's sort of a tradition in the UK, I suppose. Probably other countries as well, actually. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any traditions in your country when it comes to sort of meal times on certain days or anything else. Be really interested to learn about that. I just find that a Sunday dinner is a nice chance to sit down with all of the family and just catch up on what's been going on in everyone's lives throughout the week. Sometimes you get sort of in a rush throughout the weekdays and you don't often communicate as well as you could because you're always sort of rushing out the door to work or rushing to do something or getting to school, etc, etc. So I really do enjoy it. We also popped out to a John Lewis. Now, even though I had issues with the John Lewis laptop being damaged, they are great on customer service, love the stores as well. And in fact, our store, we go there for a cup of tea and a little treat. And I had an apple and toffee muffin, I think it was. Really nice. Anyway, I've got some more questions coming from Alex Anderton. Will your app become available for Android users? I'm aware you're currently waiting to update the iOS version. Well, it's something I looked into many times. I haven't got the financial resources to do an Android app. If there was a budget-friendly way of doing an Android app, then I would possibly look at it. I do see the value in having an app, of course I do. The iOS app, which is still undergoing an update, has been a very valuable addition to what Geekanoids sort of offers, and it's something I would like to focus more time on. So I will do it in the future. I just don't know when, but really nice question. And then I also, this isn't a question, but Phil Jones, at PhilJones40, actually put a tweet out saying about 12 attributes of happy people. Read, action, repeat. I'm just going to read a few. So 12 things happy people do differently, and it's by somebody called Mark with a C, M-A-R-C. Number 1, express gratitude. When you appreciate what you have appreciates in value. Very true. If we aren't thankful for what we already have, we will have a hard time ever being happy. Very, very true. Number 2, cultivate optimism. People who think optimistically see the world as a place packed with endless opportunities, especially in trying times. Really, really good. Very, very deep and meaningful. There's one here, number 4, practice acts of kindness. Selflessly helping someone is a super powerful way to feel good inside. That is really, really true. In fact, one of the things that I try and do every day, I think I've mentioned this in other videos, is at least make one person smile every day. So even if I'm just walking along the street and sometimes I see our local road sweeper. He doesn't know me by name, but I always say good morning and smile, and he smiles back and says good morning back, and hopefully we've had an impact on each other and just made each other's day a bit brighter. So I try and do that at least once a day. Anyway, back to the questions. The last question for this session is from Jussie. A little bit of a disclaimer for you, just so you know that Jussie at JussieNet on Twitter is actually an associate editor on Geekanoids on the website. Does a fantastic job of posting a really good article every day. So please do check out the Geekanoids website and also follow at JussieNet on Twitter. Not sure if I missed this week's Q&A, but how do you stay organised? Do you use a GTD, get things done, like Wunderlist or a project management tool or something similar? I'm going to give you a very, very straightforward answer here, and it's a brilliant question. I tried lots and lots of different apps, lots of different organisational tools to try and keep my day focused. And going back to the old school days, I think the most successful thing that I did was using to-do lists. The trouble with to-do lists is that if you add too much to a list, then it can sometimes become overwhelming. So my management, or not necessarily time management at the moment, but my sort of project management or video management is all done the old school way. I have a Moleskine notebook, so a little notebook which is sort of ruled with grids, so like little squares, and I write in the video that I'm working on or planning to work on, and I list them all down, and then I have tick boxes along the side, so 3 tick boxes. I tick the first one when it's recorded, I tick the second one when it's edited, and I tick the third one when it's uploaded. Once it's uploaded, the scheduling is then done on the computer. If I want something to go up on a certain date, for example, if I'm planning a series of videos, then I leave space in the sort of left-hand column or left-hand side of the page to write the date in as well. And that is pretty much what I do for organisation. If I've got something I definitely need to do on a certain day, I use the Reminders app on my iPhone. And if I come up with an idea that I want to put into action, do you know what I do? I email it to myself. And sometimes I've even found myself waking up at night, and if I've got an idea, I quickly just pick up the iPhone, email it to myself, and it's there for me in the morning. So that's the sort of tools that I use. So a couple of modern tools by way of the Reminders app and email, and then an old school method of actually writing it down pen to paper or pencil to paper so that I can at least change things. One of the things I'm planning on doing in the future is I'm planning on getting a dry whiteboard. Shout out to Frono's Photo, Jared. He mentioned it in one of his podcasts, or not podcasts, it was the video version of a podcast that he does, that he actually uses a dry whiteboard to write down what things are important that he definitely has to do for the day, what things he's got in planning, etc. And having something visual like that, I think, can be a very good tool as well. So I'm going to try that in the future as well. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will do these Q&As every weekend because you seem to be enjoying them. I thank you for all of your comments and all of your questions. I really do appreciate the interaction we get going on the Q&A videos. So please do keep the comments coming. If you want to leave questions for next weekend's Q&A session, there are a few ways that you can do it, and I will just recap. There is a link in the video description to my Patreon campaign. If you're a patron and you show your support, it's entirely optional, but if you show your support for what I do, it just helps me to grow the channel, and it starts at just a couple of dollars a month, so less than a couple of pounds a month. If you can show your support, then that's fantastic. There is an activity panel on the Patreon page where you can leave questions, and patrons get priority, so their questions get answered first. If you're not a patron and you don't want to support or can't support for one reason or another, that's absolutely fine. No problem with that at all. Always happy to answer questions via Twitter. All you have to do is tweet them at me and use the hashtag GeekQA. Plenty of questions coming via Twitter, and I always favourite them when I'm going to answer them. And then the last way that you can actually get a shout out or ask a priority question is there's a link in the video description for sort of support requests or shout out requests. That takes you to my Amazon page, and then you can actually make a small donation if you want a shout out for perhaps your YouTube channel or perhaps a Twitter name or perhaps a website or business. that is the method you can use for that. So plenty of ways to get in contact. Again, thank you very much for watching my video. Hope you enjoy it. Hit that like button if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you'd like to watch another amazing video from me, please do click that top box. And if you want to subscribe to my geeky channel, click the red box on the bottom of your screen now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.